The Charlotte Ledger Podcast is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network.
This episode of the Charlotte Ledger Podcast is presented by Trinity Episcopal School, marking 25 years of creating scholars, nurturing spirituality, and embracing diversity in Charlotte's Center City. Trinity offers a unique K-8 curriculum with a focus on critical thinking, curiosity about the world around us, and service to the community. Learn more about the admission process for the 2025-2026 school year and register for an open house at tescharlotte.org.
Welcome to the Charlotte Ledger Podcast. I'm Steve Dunn. To find out more about the Charlotte Ledger, visit thecharlotteledger.com. I am joined today by Melissa Sutherland, the COO and CFO of Combined Caterers, a catering company that has 3 locations in Charlotte, Raleigh, and Charleston. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you.
You got into the catering business in 2019. You were a bank executive, and a lot of people go through career changes at some point. I myself was a lawyer, and now I'm a mediator, but they're kind of related. You were a bank executive who got into the catering business, and then your work for the bank involved events and entertainment and hospitality in some ways, but this was a big change. You went from a large global company to a small company, and I wonder what it was that inspired you to make a change that profound.
Yeah, it was a big change and a big decision for me, but I knew I could take what I was doing at Bank of America on a much larger scale, bring it to a company that was smaller, but help that company grow. So since coming over to the catering side, we had the Charlotte location. Now we have a Raleigh location and a Charleston location. So what's exciting for me is to get into this company and help it grow.
So there you are. It's 2019. You've made this big career change and you're getting into hospitality and catering and food and fun. And then along comes 2020. And what happens? But the entire world shuts down. And I don't know exactly what happened to your business in particular, but I can only imagine that it just came to a grinding halt and that nothing happened for months.
Yes, I can completely remember the day that in each of our locations, we had events scheduled for that weekend. And I'm talking about people's weddings. And all of the sudden, we had to tell them, we can't do your wedding this weekend because you couldn't have that many people together. So we literally, on a Wednesday afternoon, had to call all of our clients and say, I'm sorry, we cannot do your event this weekend.
You know, I hadn't thought about it that way. I as I reflect back on COVID, I remember all the people who had weddings and they couldn't have the weddings that they wanted. But I had not reflected on the people who had their weddings scheduled like in March or April.
Yeah.
What did they do?
They didn't get married. I mean, what we have seen is, we literally had to cancel the weddings or they had to cancel their weddings. And, we had to work with them. We thought, we'll just push it out for a couple of months. No problem. Well, guess what? That didn't work either. So it ended up where, quite honestly, in 2021 and 2022, when we could start having people back together, we had an influx of weddings then. So then people who had weddings scheduled on a normal Saturday, now we've got so many weddings that were planned. We're doing them on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. So, people had to just postpone their weddings.
That's incredible. And here you are. Those folks are having to make new arrangements and figure out new things about their wedding ceremony. Here you are, new in this role, having left a great job for another great job, one hopes. But rather than helping a company grow, you're trying to help a company survive. And you're becoming one of the great experts in the world on PPP loans and stuff like that. I'm just guessing that is how you spent your day. Yes.
Good guess. Yeah. Quite honestly, I was like, what did I do at the time? But, we were in survival mode and we did figure out how to keep some of our employees busy. We started Table and Twine in 2020, which was an at-home delivery service. So we knew we had the kitchen, we had the staff, and people needed the food. So that's when we started the Table and Twine business, which is our at-home delivery service. And that has actually kept going. I mean, it has grown significantly since then, because even though the world is back to what I would call semi-normal, we are able to still do that. So
similarly to the way restaurants pivoted from table service to takeout, in catering, you were able to survive in part because you developed a home delivery offering.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And you've continued to do it. Table and Twine is this something that's available in all of your locations?
It is. It's available in all 3 locations and the surrounding areas. I mean, we go as far north as Troutman and as far south as Rock Hill. So, and then all around the Charleston area and the Raleigh-Durham area.
And what it is customer places an order and has delivered to their house food. Is this for like a family dinner or an event, or either or both?
It's actually all of the above. So there's the family dinners that we finish up till the last 15 minutes. So when the customer gets their dinner for that night, all they have to do, it's not even a reheat. It's not a to-go order. It is, we have done it, our chefs have done it up to the last 15 minutes of cooking. You finish it, and you're on the table within those 15 minutes. Or if you have a big event, let's say you have 20 people coming over, we have appetizer packages, we have certain meals that have larger portions.
You have a partnership in Charlotte with the Champion House, right?
We do. So I love this. On Fridays, we actually deliver over to Champion's house, where they feed underprivileged children and other people in that area with the food that we have left over.
The survival mode that you referenced, I wonder if you look back now, if there are positive consequences of spending some time in survival mode, right? If you can survive the most challenging business environment that has ever existed, do you find yourself well positioned for when times are good?
Absolutely. We learned a lot during that time. We learned a lot about our people, our business. We, were able to really take a deep dive into the business. And when we came out of COVID, we came out gangbusters. I mean, the company has grown double the size since we came back from COVID.
You've got 3 locations, Charlotte, Raleigh, and Charleston. For people who aren't from around here, you might think, oh yeah, same southern cities, similar places, and they are, but they're also different. I wonder what the catering markets, what's unique about them in each of those places?
They're actually all very different, to be honest with you. So Charleston, destination, weddings, much smaller market, but the need is still there. If you look at Raleigh, I mean, we are responsible for catering to all UNC game days. Very different than what we do in Charleston or Charlotte. And then in Charlotte, we have so many venues. I mean, we just opened the Revelry here in Charlotte almost a year ago, or right at a year ago now. And it's the largest venue outside the convention center in Charlotte. So some very, very different, but yet all the really good food that comes from our chefs is all the same.
Do you notice a difference in terms of cuisine, in terms of the preferences? And some of that I think would be driven by who the customers are, and some of it perhaps by the location. But I imagine you're doing a little bit more in the way of shrimp and grits in Charleston, and it sounds like burgers and fries and stuff like that in Raleigh.
You nailed it.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly right.
Just based on what you said.
You definitely nailed it. You do see a little bit of a difference, but, and it does depend on the customer, of course. And we've been able, because of these 3 locations, though, we've been able to put, our thinking caps on and, pull our chefs together and share those recipes across. And so now there's a lot of the Charleston flair that has come to Charlotte, and we've been able to take that to our other locations.
You are somehow both the chief operating officer and the chief financial officer of Combined Caterers. And each of those is a big job. How do you find it doing both?
I find it that I have a great team on my operations side and on the financial side. So that allows me to be able to lead both because I have such a great team.
what are the challenges that, as a CFO, we talked about PPP loans. I imagine you're out of that, right? Now you're in the mode of like how to allocate all the profits that are flowing in, right? Now that times are good. But on the one hand, it seems like a huge challenge trying to take care of two roles that often are a big job for one person to try to handle. But on the other hand, it seems like there may be an opportunity to connect the two in a way, in the operation of the business, to structure the way the money flows through it in a way that's complementary. And you being at the center of both of those things may have some advantages. Do you see it that way?
It has huge advantages. I mean, being in on the actual operations, and I mean really into the operations, has helped me to really understand when I'm looking at the financials, does it make sense? Is there something we need to change? Is there something we need to change in the way we do operations because what I see in the numbers, or vice versa? So the two actually go hand in hand.
We talk a lot on this podcast about Charlotte, and growth is a big part of the story of Charlotte in recent decades. And you have had a collaboration with Hugh McCall for quite a long time. And he, of course, has been instrumental in the direction that Charlotte has taken and the growth that it has experienced. How did you first come across Hugh McCall, and what have you observed about him as a business person and a leader?
I think I probably respect him as a leader more than anybody I've ever met. And he might not remember this, but in 1992 or 93, I can remember meeting him it was a location in Charlotte. It's not there anymore. I can't even remember the name of the little diner. It was just a little restaurant. But I can remember him being in there, even though here he is, the CEO of, I guess back then it would have been Nations Bank. But, sitting in this diner, having lunch, but still took the time to talk to me and a couple of other associates who were in there, and told us about how he got started and gave us some advice on what we needed to do to continue to grow in our careers. And, he hasn't stopped doing that. Now, that was back when the bank was, again, it was either NCNB or Nations Bank at the time, but all through my career, he actually influenced me more than he would ever know. And, I've kept that relationship through Valfurious Capital that, he started once he left Bank of America. And it's been a great watching not only him grow Charlotte, him grow Bank of America, but just all the people that he's helped. He actually used to give out an award at Bank of America called the Crystal Grenade Award. And I was the recipient of that award one time. And it was just, it kind of changed my whole view on what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go and how I really wanted to, take my career.
We'll be right back to the conversation. But first, this episode of the Charlotte Ledger podcast is presented by Trinity Episcopal School. Discover Trinity's K-8 advantage at tescharlotte.org.
Okay, you got to tell us. The Crystal Grenade? Is that what it is? Is this is this for being innovative and disruptive in some way? Or?
No, it was basically given to certain employees at the bank who had really, made a huge difference. So, and it was literally a crystal grenade. And I still have it, of course.
I need to understand this. Is it because you blew up something
I
that
think
was
that's the whole point. Yeah.
You made was there something in particular that you were honored for in this way? Or was it just doing a good job in general? Or?
Yeah. So, there were specific projects that were outlined that, I was responsible for. And a lot of it had to do with some cost savings that we had implemented through some projects that we did at the bank. But it really was meant to be like, you made a huge difference, a huge bang on something. So here's your crystal grenade.
It's an interesting thing to ponder how when we imagine improving a process or a business or doing anything better, it's easy to imagine that requires incremental gains in how we do things. It's harder to imagine that it may require a radical deconstruction of how we do things, a completely new way, a blowing up of the thing that was there before. And I wonder if after receiving the crystal grenade, if you're more open to this idea about big change versus incremental change.
You had to be. I mean, I don't think I would have been with Bank of America for 28 years had I not been able to think about it that way. Like, it has to be big change. And again, I mentioned earlier, it started out at NCNB, then Nations Bank, then Bank of America, and lots of, banks in between there that were purchased or acquired. Without being able to accept big change, I don't think that you could make it in a business like that.
So you're there 28 years. You're successful in every measure, and you decide to leave. What was it? Was it catering that you wanted to get into? Was it a new challenge that you wanted to take on?
It wasn't catering that I wanted to get into. It was the opportunity to go from a very large company to a small company and really make a difference. So I had the opportunity. Make a bang. At a smaller.
Blow things up.
That's right.
Well, how's it been? It's been 5 years. You've made it through COVID. Are you having the opportunity now to sort of enjoy a fun ride a little bit, or do you just find yourself with like all new challenges and another rung on the ladder to climb?
I love it. Honestly, it's been a great experience. It's been a different experience, and I've had to adjust. The culture is a lot different than being, where there are 200,000 employees, and I go to a company where, we have less than 100 full-time employees, lots of part-time employees. But
I've heard that if a bartender doesn't show up, you might be back there mixing drinks at someone's wedding.
I never knew that I could be such a great bartender, but I can make a drink for you. Let me just tell you. So, yeah, and I've done that, and I'm okay with that. And the real difference, too, is I know every person in the company. There was no way to do that at a company like Bank of America, but it's so nice to know everyone there, and everyone pitches in. Again, if somebody doesn't show up, doesn't matter what your position is, we're going to call on you.
Well, in addition to your work in the catering business, you are the board chair and a co-founder of the State Highway Patrol Foundation.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So it actually came about because I was asked to consult with someone at the Highway Patrol because I was on the board of the Kidney Foundation, at the Kidney Foundation for 9 years. And the Highway Patrol needed to start a foundation because they had donors that were quite honestly in line to give money, but had no way to give money to a state run. So I was asked to come in and say.
So the situation is there's a need sometimes, right? There's a need for funding. So for example, if there's been an emergency or somebody's been injured and it's in the hospital or something and the family needs to be by their side, they might need help with that. But because these are state employees, they're very limited in terms of how that help can be delivered, right? And so is that what the foundation's role is to assist with?
It is. We had situations where police officers themselves was having to take money out of their own pocket to buy, things as simple as pizza for the family who has an injured officer there in the hospital. They were using their own money because they are state employees and can't use state funds for things like that. So that's what the foundation does. And
so how did it go then? How long has it been in existence?
Started at the end of 2019.
Oh, perfect.
Exactly.
You decided to start a nonprofit and change your career at the same time.
That's right. And so we definitely...
Did you renovate a house while you were at it?
I might as well have.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Why not? But we did slow it down, of course, during COVID, trying to build a board, during COVID while everybody had so much that was unusual in their life going on was really hard. So we really got it started in 2022 and have really built it up since then, and am looking forward to what we're doing in the next couple of years.
One of the things I look at in preparing for these conversations is the 40 over 40 award announcement itself, right? It's everybody I meet with has a lot going on in their life, but that's one way to see it condensed down into some kind of a message. It's connected with the award, right? And we're here talking about the award, I'm here talking because of the award. And one of the things that it says about you is that you are admired for your quiet humility. And that struck me because I thought if somebody is quietly humble it might be very uncomfortable to talk about being admired for quiet humility. And so let me just shamelessly put you on the spot and ask, like, what do you think about being described in that way?
It's not really that surprising, I guess. I have been told many times throughout my career and even, my personal life that I should kind of toot my own horn sometimes. And that's just not me. Quite honestly, it's not. And, I would rather give credit to everyone around me. And that's just who I am.
I bet that's one of the things that you learned from observing Hugh McCall.
100%.
Yeah. This is one of the qualities of great leaders. I think that is universal.
Yeah.
Is first to take blame and the last to take credit. And I agree with you 100% about that. And I noticed that when I asked you about being the COO and the CFO, the first words out of your mouth were, I have a great team.
Yep. And I do.
You have been asked what advice you might give to your younger self. And you answer that question by saying, remember that work is important, but so is life itself. And that it's important to strike a balance. And I think I was reflecting on, and a lot of times when I hear messaging like that, I think the context of it is be sure to take enough time off, to be sure to get away from work. But at the same time, we got to work, we have to work. And I wonder, when you talk about that, what is it about work that it adds to that balance? What is important about your work that helps give you that balance?
Well, I've been lucky enough in all the things that I've been responsible for, whether it was with Bank of America or what I do now, to be able to know that I am helping people, whether it is, in the catering business or whether it was making sure that all of our bankers at Bank of America had everything that they needed to get their jobs done. So to me, that helps with the balance, because when you're doing something that you love and that is contributing to help someone else, then there's a great balance there. You
find meaning in your work?
I do. Yep. Which, might be hard for people to understand, because when you think about catering, you think, oh, well, it's just serving food. It's not. It's making a difference in the one day typically that most people have that is a life-changing event. I mean, it's somebody's wedding, right? It is definitely something that you can either make that a great day or make that a terrible day.
I think that's the thing, is to be conscious of the meaning of your work and to think about your work in terms of its larger impact in the world. In my own professional career, I had a very memorable conversation with a construction worker guy one time, and just driving around town, he would refer to the buildings that he had worked on and say, I built that, as to many buildings, right? This guy had been involved in and I just thought, that is, what a way, when you're going to work doing construction, you can either think I'm just here to get my, hourly wage, and or you can think I'm building something that's going to be here long after I'm gone. That's forming part of the shape of the city. And so I think it's not so much, I think a lot of people think that you have to have work that is inherently rewarding, whereas there's also, which is great, but there's also this opportunity to find reward in any work. Absolutely.
I mean, you need to be proud of what you do, and you need to do it to the best of your ability. And again, know that whatever you're doing, I don't care if you're a bartender, a cashier, whatever it is, you're servicing people to some level. And, that could make or break people's days.
You have been in Charlotte now for about 30 years or so.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. And so what do you notice about this? You've chosen to stay. Let's put it that way. You came to Charlotte a long time ago and you're still here. Why is that? And what is it that you like about Charlotte?
I love this area. I love the city. I love the opportunities that are in Charlotte, whether it's, from a business standpoint or from a, personal standpoint. I love being at Lake Norman. I just think that this area, I can't imagine ever being anywhere else. And I've traveled all over the world, and I love to travel, but I always want to come home here.
Well, we should be clear. went on and on about how you're from Charlotte, but you actually live in Mooresville, right?
I do, but the Charlotte area.
So here's the thing about Mooresville. The story of Mooresville 20 years ago was a story of growth and challenges associated with growth. Like more people talk about that in Charlotte a lot, but with Mooresville it was like even more distilled like growth and the challenges associated with growth, like roads being crowded and the infrastructure being hard to keep up and all that kind of stuff. So in a way, like Mooresville's experience is kind of like Charlotte's, but like even more so, right? And I wonder have you lived there for a long time and been there for a lot of Mooresville's, because it's ongoing still to this day, right?
Yeah. So I've been in Mooresville for a little over 20 years now, and it's still ongoing, and the road situation is still not fun, but we're getting there, definitely. And there's a lot of expansion that is still happening, but it is a great, what I still call little city, outside of Charlotte to live in.
Well, here you are, a recipient of the Charlotte Ledger 40 over 40 award. You're still enjoying a great career in your multiple roles with Combined Caterers, but you've also done a bunch of stuff. I wonder how you think about where you are in your career and in your life and what you look forward to in the future.
So I love where I am right now, knowing that we still have a lot further to go, even in the company that I'm in today. In the future, I've got a new grandchild that was born in January, and I have a daughter who is expecting in October. So it's kind of taken me down a different path now where, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to spending time with them. Not that I'm, going to just retire and be done tomorrow, but at the same time, it's something really to look forward to.
Well, Melissa Sutherland, it's been my great pleasure to speak with you today. I thank you for being with me on the Charlotte Ledger podcast.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it.
That's it for today. Thanks for listening. This episode was produced by Lindsay Banks. You can find out more about the Charlotte Ledger by visiting thecharlotteledger.com.
This episode of the Charlotte Ledger podcast is presented by Trinity Episcopal School. Your family belongs at Trinity, the only independent K-8 school in Charlotte's Center City. Applications for the 2025-2026 school year are now open. Visit tescharlotte.org.
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.